Hey everybody, voiceover Mr. Dan here. I decided to cut out a lot of the blathering I did at the beginning of the video in order to make it a little shorter. So let's get right to my ranking of the Sammo Hung films in this collection. Check out my reviews of all 6 of these films. Thanks.
Anyway, so let's just get part one. We'll rank these films that I reviewed. Once again, I reviewed all these films. Kind of a hard list to rank. We got one in there where Sammo doesn't even speak. So it's just a supporting role. And then you have some older ones and some more modern ones. Anyway, let's go with the bottom. Many of you noticed in my review, I didn't seem to love this one. It just, something about it just didn't come together. Hidden Enforcers from early 90s. Just in some ways didn't feel as modern as some of his earlier films. And I talked about plot-wise, it could have been almost like a John Woo script, but it just didn't come together. And it just didn't really care about these kids that he was training to be assassins that much. Wasn't terrible, I'm just saying, if you want to try a Sammo Hung film, there are other films to watch first before this one. So next, I'm going to go with a very silly, goofy one. I mean, it was harmless. There's some weird stuff in it I didn't even mention in my review. There's one scene where they're doing all these moves on the dance floor and they're trying to escape from the villains, and for some reason they superimpose these like glowing triangles on the screen. I was like, what's going on here? Yeah, but some child actors involved in this one. There's some musical numbers. It never gets too schmaltzy. It could have. There's still some decent action, including some decent sort of underground boxing or fighting sequences. Mostly for fun. Really good ending, though. The little twist at the end where you're like, is he going to get together with this woman or not? It's clever the way they did it. But Return of the Fat Dragon, a.k.a. Swindler King. Okay, Swindler King is the more common name. Next, we're going to go with one of the earlier Kung Fu films. This is the one where Sammo just plays a henchman. He doesn't really have a speaking role. I know Shannon from Rusting Willpower, who's been watching all these videos, and I really appreciate that. Those of you that have stuck in there, some of you, I know some of you haven't seen any of these, but some of you have been telling me you look like my friend KDS Reviews. He's looking up to see which ones are on YouTube. You guys are watching the trailers. I'm glad I could inspire some interest in these films, even though they're lesser known ones. But what was I saying? Oh, Shannon mentioned like in the thumbnail, he looks like a baby. Yeah, he looks very young in that thumbnail. He was quite young in this. Mandarin Magician, a.k.a. Bloody Ring, which is like a fighting ring. This one is set in Thailand. Sammo is a henchman for the Japanese team, and it's good. Even though he's only in a few scenes, when he gets kicked and has to do like a stunt where he flips around from the force of the kick, you could tell like he's the man. Next up, we're gonna go with the other older Kung Fu movie, the one that I reviewed just past Monday, The Incredible Kung Fu Master, where Sammo plays the master in this one, and he trains Stephen Wong Tae, I believe his name was. Kind of a silly one, kind of a fun one. Pretty consistently silly throughout, though, but also just tons of fun. A lot of really good fight choreography. One of the highlights is Sammo against Billy Chan, where he takes out a baton and keeps screwing pieces in and makes a whole staff at the end. Lots of fun. Oh, and then next we would have The Gambling Ghost. This is the one where Sammo plays 3 characters. Okay, father, son, and the grandfather who comes back as a ghost. This one, I don't know if it would precede. I think it came after some of his roles in movies like The Dead and Deadly and Encounters of the Spooky Kind. Those are so good, and the production value is so high that I often forget, like Encounters of the Spooky Kind from 1980. Some of the films that Sammo made independently of that after don't look as good as that film. So, but a little bit of overlap with the horror comedy genre that I've reviewed on this Lam Ching Ying collection. Sammo's in a couple of these. So there's a little bit of that and a little bit of silliness in Sammo in several split screen scenes where he's fighting himself, or even all 3 characters, one of whom is a ghost, are fighting each other. Entertaining for sure. I mean, you can't deny it's entertaining. Brief appearance by Robert Samuels, who I mentioned. He would have a larger role in the number 1 film on here, Burger Cop, a.k.a. Don't Give a Damn. I think it mostly goes by Don't Give a Damn. It's solid action film. Maybe not the high production values of some of the In the Line of Duty movies or some of Jackie Chan's Police Story, but as far as budget, but there's enough in here. You know, there's some really good stunts. Great fight scene between Sammo and Ewan Biao. I think I forgot to mention it, but there's one scene where Sammo's big, okay? Ewan Biao picks him up, and he starts walking him across the locker room, and he's you see something on the other side like a bench, and he's going to slam him on the bench, and his legs just give out. It's pretty funny.
Okay, everybody, what do you think of my rankings? Let me know in the comments below, and come back again for some more Martial Arts Monday reviews. Thanks.